Hello everybody, my name is Nathan, and today I want to talk about the whole Digital Homicide versus Jim Sterling lawsuit thing that's going on right now. And this has been a story for a while now. I've let it sit for a week or two because I'm a fan of Jim Sterling's videos and I didn't want my opinion just to be my initial defense of someone whose videos I enjoy. I felt like I needed to leave some time to get a fuller picture of what's going on, and now that I have that, I feel I can give my opinion. Now, a little background if you're not aware, a YouTube game critic who goes by the name Jim Sterling is currently being sued by independent game developer Digital Homicide, and they claim that this is over defamatory statements made by Sterling which has caused them significant financial damage. A lot of this stuff has stemmed from a blind play that Sterling made of a Digital Homicide game called The Slaughtering Grounds, where Sterling very much ripped the game to shreds and dubbed it an absolute failure. Now, most of the statements that Digital Homicide are disputing have a very tenuous link to any kind of defamation at best. I mean, they claim that Sterling said they were incompetent at their jobs, and I have to say, having played The Slaughtering Grounds for myself, and yes, that is my footage you're watching right now, I bought and played this game, I would gladly back Sterling up in saying that this is an incompetent piece of work. Digital Homicide also took issue with claims that they put assets in their games that maybe they shouldn't have been using. Of course, the issue with that is that they blatantly did. I mean, look at the blood splatter that appears when you go on a quote-unquote rampage or bloodbath. The same splatter also used to appear when you took damage but has since been replaced by horrible blob things, and it's clearly been ripped straight from Google Images. And might I add, not ripped very well. That might be a little sign of incompetence there, guys, just saying. But moving quickly on, Digital Homicide also claim that they've been the subject of harassment from Sterling's fans, and you know what? That's probably true, but can Sterling really be blamed for the actions of others? No, of course he can't, just as if someone who watched one of my videos went out to rob a shop. I wouldn't be liable for that, and neither should I be. It's a ridiculous thing to think. The only exception would be if Sterling was inciting the harassment, if he was literally asking people to go out and attack these guys, and he was accused of something similar in an interview with Digital Homicide's Robert Romine. But the evidence that he presented to back that assertion up was utterly laughable, and if you haven't heard that interview, I'll link it down below in the description because I'd highly recommend you give it a listen. So what do the Romine brothers who run Digital Homicide want in compensation for all of these perceived wrongs against them? Oh, only the small amount of $10.7 million, $2.2 million of which is for direct product damage. Now, I bought The Slaughtering Grounds for 79 British pence, and to be honest, I feel as though I've massively overpaid. So maybe 2.2 million is a little bit steep, don't you think, guys? Now, granted, the fact that they've had so much attention from Jim's fans may well have made their lives more difficult in the past year or so, but the real kicker here is that Digital Homicide brought it all on themselves. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and say that they deserve to be harassed, because no one deserves that. What I am saying though is that reviewers and critics such as Jim Sterling regularly make videos about games that they have a negative opinion of. It just goes with the territory, and Sterling himself has made many videos about games that are absolutely awful. But nobody harasses their devs for months and months. Hell, I don't even think that many people know who the devs of those games are, because the developers took the criticism on the chin and moved on, hopefully to make improvements to their game or create better games in the future. Digital Homicide, on the other hand, threw a tantrum, thus kicking the Streisand effect into top gear. They released a video called Review the Reviewer, where they attacked Sterling and what he did, and submitted a DMCA takedown on the original YouTube video, which is a super shitty thing to do because it really fucks with any YouTube channel. They ended up creating more attention for themselves, and the lawsuit has put them right back in the public eye again, and you have to remember that if they hadn't reacted in the first place, none of this would have ever happened. Now, I believe Jim Sterling to be a clever man, and he probably made a few more videos on Digital Homicide's games than he would have had the tantrum not happened, because he knows that he'll get more views because of it. But he's still giving honest opinions on all of those games, even saying on recent release Dungeons of Cragmore that it wasn't too bad. And if you're going to sue reviewers for giving opinions or, you know, reviewing, then where does that leave us? A marketplace where consumers have no information before making purchases, or even worse, a world where positive reviews are the only ones allowed, meaning that consumers are effectively lied to. Now, from a personal standpoint, I don't want these guys to be harassed. I really don't. Harassment is always wrong, and if Digital Homicide attempt to pursue people who, according to them, sent feces to their house, I would be 100% behind them. I just want to see good games coming out, whoever makes them. If it's Digital Homicide or a AAA dev, I don't care, so long as the game's fun. And you just don't get that by allowing poor products onto the market without criticism. So where do I see this whole lawsuit thing going? Well, to be honest, I don't believe that this will ever get anywhere near a courtroom. Digital Homicide have already removed a crowdfunding campaign they had to get a lawyer, and they've also removed a link talking about the lawsuit from the top bar of their website, although that page can still be found if you look hard enough. All of this indicates they might have already come to their senses a little bit, but if they do end up pursuing this, I find it very hard to believe that they've got any chance of winning, and in my opinion, any lawyer telling them that they can is either very naive or just trying to make a quick buck off the case. Now, I will admit that that is coming from someone with absolutely zero legal experience, so maybe I'm wrong, but if there's any sense left in the US justice system at all, Digital Homicide will not come out of this one well. From a YouTube point of view though, if it does go to court and Jim Sterling wins, it'll set a great precedent against any devs that try to censor reviews in the future. And don't make any mistake here, that is what this case is about. They are trying to censor Jim Sterling. At this stage, my honest advice for Digital Homicide is to drop it. Leave this whole Jim Sterling fight thing alone, and get on with whatever you want to do in the future. Now, if that future is making video games, then absolutely fine, I'm not going to stop you. Just please either take more time with your games and concentrate on one game at a time, please, or learn to accept the criticism that you're obviously going to get when you release products of questionable quality that you're expecting people to pay for. Also, maybe go on a PR course, that might not be the worst idea ever. Anyway guys, that's about it for today, so if you enjoyed the video, I'd be very appreciative of a like down below. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and subscribe if you haven't already. I've been Nathan, and I'll see you next time.